Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am MD Riaz Hosen. I am a student of Department of Banking and Insurance in University of Chittagong. First of all, I would like to thank our honorable course coordinator, our Enamul Haq sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to introduce Lewis model and its criticism. And first comes the introduction sector. An eminent development economist, Arthur Lewis, put forward his model. An eminent development economist, Arthur Lewis, put forward his model of economic development with unlimited supplies of labor, which envisages the capital accumulation in the modern industrial sector so as to draw labor from the subsistence agriculture sector. Basically, it is developed in 1954. Lewis model has been somewhat modified. And extended by fee and range. But the essence of the two models is almost the same. Both the models assume the existence of surplus labor in the economy. Both the models assume the existence of surplus labor in the economy. The main component of which is the enormous disguised unemployment in agriculture. Next comes the two main sector of Lewis model. There are two sector. First, number one is primary sector and number two is modern sector. In primary sector, it have agriculture sector, traditional sector, overpopulated sector, and rural sector. On the other hand, modern sectors have high productive sector, industrial sector, and urban sector. According to Lewis, primary sector have a excess supply of labor. Then comes the question: what is excess supply of labor? Actually, excess supply of labor means more person engaged with farming or producing than actually required. Assuming a family have 15 members, they need 7 members to farming or producing, but the whole 15 members are engaged with farming or producing. Here the difference of required members and actually needed members is 8. These 8 members are excess supply of labor. And they have zero marginal productivity. According to Lewis, the excess supply of labor and this excess supply of labor, these 8 members, as we are assuming, these 8 members is the excess supply of labor will have labor will move these 8 members or this excess supply of labor will move modern sector by attracting higher wages. Modern sector pays higher wages than agricultural sector. Here we are discussing the Lewis exhibition or Lewis graphs. First, we are discussing the traditional sector. Here TPA is the total production of agriculture sector, LA is the labor of agriculture sector, QLA is the quantity of labor of agriculture sector, APLA that means the average productivity of labor in agriculture sector, MPLA is the marginal productivity of labor in agriculture sector. Let's see the total product of food section. We see that productivity is no longer increasing after a fixed point of labor is involved. That means marginal productivity of surplus labor is 0. Assuming the LA is the 7 person which are actually required for farming, and the QL is the 15th person which are required. Then 7 person involved to producing a number of product, and the 15% also farming this quantity of product. That means the gap are the labor surplus and their marginal productivity is 0. Average productivity is the assuming average productivity assuming 15 members are producing 15 unit of product. Their average productivity is 1, and 30 members producing this 15th unit of product. Their average productivity will be 0.5, and that means average productivity will also be negative or will be 0 at any time. Surplus labor, they will and the surplus labor will move that means LA to QLA. This surplus labor will move in the manufacture sector. On the other hand, WAA is the wages of agriculture sector, is the wage rate of agriculture sector, and WM is the wage rate of manufacture sector. Wage rate of manufacture sector. That means the gap is the higher wages rate of manufacture sector, because we know in our previous slide that WM, that means wage rate of manufacture sector, is higher than the wage rate of agriculture sector. Here OD1 is the marginal productivity of labor. That means WM, the wage rate of manufacturing sector, to D1 OD1, that means productivity of that means sorry, WM is the wage rate of manufacture sector, because we know wage rate of manufacture sector is higher than the wage rate of agriculture sector. Here OD1 is the marginal productivity of labor. That means the gap between the OWM to OD1 is the profit or surplus of modern sector. Obviously modern sector reinvest their profit in production, will also be increased. Reinvest their profit and production will also be increased. It will grow from total production of manufacture 1 to total production of manufacture 2. That means TPM 1 to TPM 2. Also, labor will also come from agriculture sector by attracting more wages. And the labor of manufacturing sector will increase to L1 will increase OL1 to OL2 will increase. And now the gap between OWM to OD2 is the profit or surplus. It will again reinvest in the manufacture section. Thus TPM2 to TPM3 will occur, and the labor L2 to L3 will be occur again. Finally, we are going to discussing the criticism of the Lewis model. First, we can say the theory is very limited in scope, as it is based on the unlimited supply of labor in LDCs, that means least development countries. That means it is basically depends on developing countries or the least developed countries. On the other hand, the country which are already developed, they are not basically dependent on the agriculture sector, so it is not applicable for the developed countries. On the other hand, the second part is the mobility of labor from the subsistence to the capitalist sector is not easy in least development countries. Mobility of labor from subsistence to the capitalist sector is not easy in least developed countries. It is not that the workers went to the modern sector for jobs and got the job. There is actually no guarantee for getting jobs. There is problem of accommodation and the lack of security. Number 3, the assumption of the model that capitalists continue to reinvest their surplus is not tenable. Number 4, savings made in rural sector have been ignored. Savings, that means, is it logical, that is it rationable, rational, is it rational that only capitalists saves and reinvest, and the people in the primary sector neither saves nor reinvest? Is it rational? Obviously the answer will not, answer will not. That means the person which are situated in the primary sector, they can also save, they can also reinvest uh, their money.